So let's have a look at historical patterns and the forecast. You see it's still loading. Here you can see the influenza caused deaths in the US states between 2009 and 2017 and the forecast for 2018 and 2019. There are a lot of lines. It looks a bit chaotic, but you can choose here which one you want to display. Apparently it's not working at the moment. I don't know why. I will try it again in a bit. Yeah, okay, somehow it's not working, but I try to do it like this. It works too. So let's have a look at California. There you can see the years and also the months. For example, this dot displays November 2011, 508 recorded deaths based on caused on influenza. Here it's a peak at January 2014 with more than 1,000 deaths. Here it's also another peak, January 2013. So it's clearly to see a pattern that it's mostly the months of January showing peaks in the amount of dead people. Let's have a look at this line. It's New York, and the peak here is also January 2010, January 2011, January 2012, yeah, and so on. And then we can see the forecast for New York. It's an estimation. So the peaks are in January too in this forecast. And let's go to the results and recommendations. Here you can see the top 7 states with the highest caregiving needs. It's California, New York, Texas, Pennsylvania, Florida, Illinois, and Ohio. And here on the map, you can see the level of need for additional medical staff based on the death count. Here you can see most are green because the death count for people over 65 is not as big as from the yellow or red colored states. It's important here to acknowledge that this level of need is based on the total death count or on the death count of old people. But like we saw before that North and South Dakota, they have a quite small death count, but compared to the size of the population, they have a quite big crude mortality rate. So it's important to also send stuff to these areas, even if the number of deaths is not quite as big as like from California, Texas, New York, and Ohio. So the conclusion is that most of the influenza-related mortality occurs among vulnerable groups, especially individuals aged over 64 years. And the influenza season is for most states starting in late fall and wintertime and ending in spring, early spring, in some cases even late spring, like end of April. And the states with the highest demand for additional medical staff are those with the largest population of vulnerable group and with the highest influenza-related deaths. So my recommendations based on my research are: first, prioritize the deployment of additional staff to focus primarily on the top 7 states with larger vulnerable populations, because it in fact I missed the word at the moment. It has impact on most of people in the states, but also focus on other states with high accrued mortality rate. When the second point is, when allocating staff, account for the more heavily affected months in each state, which means like fall and winter and early spring months. And to further fine-tune the allocation of additional staff, we need to conduct additional studies to investigate the presence and effectiveness of preventive measures in each state, such as the availability of flu shots and other interventions, and then understanding current staffing data and how much is distributed across each region. This helps establish clear needs along with the results from the study. Yeah, I hope this resonates with you or makes sense to you. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me, like right now, or even if something pops up later in your mind, feel free to write me an email, to give me a call, or whatever. I'm happy to answer your questions. Bye.